think you can clearly, in the case of the United Kingdom, trace a gradual decline. In the survey measures that were available to us in the late 1950s and 1960s, you saw far more positive confidence in the role of government and the political system more generally. In the 1950s, people would still have been reflecting on the dynamics of the Second World War, where democracy fought a battle against fascist totalitarian systems, and people who fought on the side of democracy are likely to want to claim that that was a worthwhile victory, and therefore our political system was worth defending.
There used to be really strong ties between political parties and groups in society in the UK. There's a quite famous quote that it's all politics in Britain is class-based, and the rest is just sort of decoration. Throughout the 70s, we saw those ties weakening between parties and citizens. And it wasn't all class-based anymore, because class became less important. The whole party system in the UK kind of went through a change, because at the same time you had sort of devolution and the rise of parties such as the SNP in Scotland and Plaid Cymru in Wales. And then there's the Green Party. For a two-party system, that's a lot of parties that I just named, So already there's that diversification and what we call fragmentation of the party system.
The key thing that's declining is just to what extent people feel that politicians reflect their own views. Voters, they feel that they've got legitimate concerns about things like immigration, about things like the cost of living, about things like tax avoidance, and they look around and they don't always see politicians actually dealing with those concerns. The real danger to avoid with political trust is entering into this sort of vicious circle, this self-fulfilling prophecy where low trust ends up in polarisation, and then more polarisation ends up in less trust, and you basically get one feeding off the other. That is basically what's happening in the US. Now, polarisation in the UK is not to the same degree as it is in the US, but also when you actually go and do focus groups, when you get out of sort of what the commentariat might be writing about south versus north or left versus right, and you actually do talk to people, they tend to have broadly similar views on some things. They might have a different view of the messenger. They might not want to hear Nigel Farage talking to them about immigration, but they may well actually have a similar view on, for example, a skills-based immigration system underneath.
I think the British culture, and reflected in its politics, is much more of a shrug of the shoulders. Well, what can you expect? They're politicians. And I think that in a way we will probably more likely head down the Italian path, which is to have a sustained democracy with institutions that function more or less effectively, but in the context of a very low trust environment, because I think people will just say, well, we can live with it.